Hi guys, welcome to the 12 Days of Eczema Christmas. We are starting with day number 1. Today we are talking about the number 1 worst medication for eczema. I think when you saw the title of this video, you probably expected what I was gonna say to be the worst medication for eczema. And yes, you are right. The number 1 worst medication for eczema is steroids. So steroids are a type of medication that's used topically or orally to treat eczema. It's something that a dermatologist would prescribe to you. There's a bunch of different types of steroids and they have a bunch of different types of strengths. And the reason why steroids are the worst, actually, I'm gonna say there's 2 reasons why steroids are the worst medication for eczema. The first reason is it's only a band-aid solution, meaning for most people with moderate to severe eczema, once you stop using steroids, your eczema is likely to come back, or you'll develop what I was referencing before when I said that there's 2 reasons why steroids are terrible for eczema is you develop something called topical steroid withdrawal. And there's a lot to all of this that we're gonna unpack in this video. I actually just looked up a list of some really common steroids just so you guys are aware of some common names of topical steroids. So these are usually prescribed, so there's like low potency topical steroids. This is saying that desonide, and hydrocortisone. I also want you guys to know that Protopic is also steroids as well. Then you have medium to high potency topical steroids. This is Tracolimus, which is Protopic. This is a really common one. There's Elidel. There's another one called, so this is medium to high strength steroids. This is a cream or ointment. Fluocinolone. There's triamcinolone, 0.1%. Betamethasone dipropionate, 0.05%. And then this article that I'm on dives into phototherapy and immunosuppressant pills. We're not going to talk about that today because we're just going to be focusing on topical steroids because this is a huge problem for the eczema community. Now, if you've never met me before, my name is Michelle Mills. I have had eczema off and on my entire life. Had it as a baby, had it as a toddler, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 13 years old, had a little bit in high school. It came full force in 2017. I figured out how to get rid of moderate to severe eczema through diet, supplements, and mindset. And I actually became a certified health coach so that I can start actually truly helping people through like my own program. It's called Empowered Eczema. And I am just knowledgeable from speaking to the community, being a health coach, studying, doing, studying research, studying books, listening to doctors, functional doctors, naturopathic doctors. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a dermatologist. So basically why you're prescribed steroids is in your body you produce natural steroids called glucocorticosteroids. Please be patient. I read everything mostly, so I do not know how to pronounce a lot of things, but I am putting them around me so you can see how they're supposed to be spelled, so you can look them up, figure out how to pronounce them. I'm trying my best. But basically your body produces its own steroids. When you have inflammation, let's say you have this much inflammation, your body produces that much amount of natural steroids to reduce the inflammation and make sure that you are okay. So the real issue with eczema is a lot of times people have too much inflammation for your body to produce enough natural steroids for you to heal naturally. Like your body completely is able to fight the inflammation that's going on. Well, so that's why you were prescribed steroids by your dermatologist, is because it's supplementing for those steroids that your body isn't able to produce. It makes a lot of sense when you think about it logically, but the reason why we do not want to use steroids is, one, your body becomes dependent on these steroids and stop producing its own, so that when you come off of the steroids, especially from prolonged use, there's a lot of things that happen. And I want to make it perfectly clear that what I'm gonna describe to you in this video is in no way the full description of how steroids truly change so much about your body after prolonged use. And people that are going through topical steroid withdrawal, I can't even begin to give my sympathy to you and give my love to you, because it is truly a horrible thing to go through. So I'm going to describe what I'm able to describe. If you guys want to have a conversation in the comments down below, I'm going to leave resources in the description box for topical steroid withdrawal, so you guys can get more information from people who have been through it or are very knowledgeable about topical steroid withdrawal. But going back to what I was saying, one of the things that happens is when you get off of topical steroids, your body was dependent and it's having a hard time producing its own steroids. And not only that, but your body never produced that same amount of steroids. So all of that inflammation that's underlying, that the steroids are kind of covering up as a band-aid, it's now going to be shown. And so you have the eczema that you had before. There are some cases where people were able to use steroids and it did help. I did use steroids when I was in middle school, and they were literally my only relief. I would have to take the cream, slather my leg with it, wrap my legs in saran wrap, and sleep that way. And I'm not sure many people know that story. And the next day, like, I would be okay. But I don't have, it was a long time ago, so I don't have a full memory if like the eczema came back, it came back worse, I ran out of cream. I don't know that sort of information, but I do know for some people these steroids do help, so I also don't want to lessen that. Like, I don't want to take away from people who were helped by steroids. It is more helpful on a very mild scale of eczema. But if you're treating moderate to severe eczema and you're using these steroids on a lot of parts of your body and you're using them regularly, even if you don't use them regularly, you can still go through topical steroid withdrawal, which drives me absolutely mad. So TSW, or topical steroid withdrawal, is essentially your body withdrawing. It's just like such a full body, horrible experience. A lot of people experience topical steroid withdrawal on their face, on their neck, on their chest. They get something called a red sleeve. It basically shows up like this around your wrist. I'll put a picture here to show you some areas that topical steroid usually shows up. It affects your body in such a massive way, and this is why this is the #1 worst medication for eczema. And the worst part of it all is they basically came up with step therapy, where you are required to get on steroids before you're able to have access to something like Dupixent. Dupixent is it's essentially an immunosuppressant shot, and people still withdraw from Dupixent. They also, one of the side effects is like issues with your eyes. I think eye conjunctivitis. I'm sorry, I'm going off of my memory. There's some issues with your eyes with Dupixent. And basically, I have to sometimes tell people that I work with, like clients of mine, to get on Dupixent if they're going through horrible TSW, because sometimes that's the only way out before you're hospitalized. And it sucks. This whole thing just sucks. And I'm really upset with the way that dermatologists are going about this situation when I think in some cases, this is something I've dealt with and thought about for the last like 5 years of my life consistently. I'm very passionate about this subject. I was very frustrated in 2017 because I was on this path where I wanted to heal naturally. And like from anything, like the flu, a cold, anything. And I developed that eczema and I was like, well, I want to heal naturally. So I started looking it up. I was watching YouTube, I was watching, like reading articles, found out about TSW and about steroids. And I was like, I can't go to the dermatologist. Like, who am I supposed to go to? And I was like, oh, well, it has to do with your immune system. I should go to an immunologist. And I was like, no, that doesn't sit right with me. I don't think they're gonna do anything that's gonna help me. And it was just this long journey of discovering how to heal your body naturally. And I'm here to say, you can heal eczema naturally. There's a massive mindset change you have to have and a massive lifestyle change you have to have, but you can make it out on the other side and you can heal your eczema naturally. And I want to spread that awareness because I'm not sure if dermatologists know that. In fact, I talk to a lot of people who say their dermatologists refuse that diet, supplements, lifestyle have anything to do with eczema. I've heard that they refuse anything that's natural. And I'm sad to hear that because I literally have been able to help myself and a bunch of other people heal. So it just gets to me. So don't feel bad if you've used steroids, okay? Take a deep breath. You can decide in this moment that you want to take the natural path, and that's okay. You can decide in this moment that you're gonna do both at the same time, and that's okay. We all have our own journey. I will say, from what I've heard, you do have to go cold turkey to get off of steroids. It's just what a lot of people with TSW have told me. People who go through TSW, topical steroid withdrawal, your diet might be a little bit more challenging and a little bit strange. So 2 pieces of information I can give you is usually you're histamine intolerant when you're going through TSW, so you have to go on a low histamine diet. And you're also dealing with issues with nitric oxide because when you go through TSW, your blood vessels are already dilated, which means your blood vessels are more open, and nitric oxide it basically dilates your blood vessels even more. And so it kind of adds to the fire of TSW. So going on a low nitric oxide diet would help as well. I have documented foods that are low and high in these things on the Ultimate Eczema Food Guide. I'm gonna link that down below. If you haven't heard of it, it's essentially a spreadsheet I put together, and it's supposed to help people with eczema heal naturally through food. I talk about candida on there, I talk about SIBO, or at least I talk about hydrogen sulfide SIBO, and it's just this massive spreadsheet of any whole food you can think of and how it relates to different aspects of eczema. Another aspect of eczema would be an overworked liver or a non-alcoholic fatty liver. And I also have documented on there all about that. So it's currently on sale for the holidays. It's $26.50 and you can get it just click the link in the description box down below and you can go to the spreadsheet. So just to wrap up this video, the worst medication for eczema is steroids, and that's all I have to say. I will see you guys for the second day of Eczema Christmas tomorrow. All right, guys, bye.
I like crashing waves, but I wanna see them at first light after a long night and see the sky take shape. But I wanna see the stars.